All right, this is FANBT3A. Once again, FANBT3A. It says I can read and write and compare decimals to the thousandths when in expanded form. All right, so we're going to do question number 1 first. It says write the decimal notation for, and you really just want to write a decimal. So this is an expanded form and you just want to write a decimal. I do this in 2 steps. Some people try to jump ahead and do it in 1 step. Whichever way is comfortable for you is fine, but I like doing it in 2 steps. So I do each place value separately. So I have 4 times 100 is 400. 2 times 10 is 20. 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times 1/10 is 7/10, and then 1 times 100th is 100th. And I like to do this step just to make sure that I have all the components here. And then I add this up. I have 423 and 71 hundredths as my answer. Once again, 423 and 71 hundredths. Now, some people will go from here right to this step here, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I personally like to see this step here, so you can take each place value right here and do it separately, but whichever you're comfortable with is fine as long as you end up with the same results. Remember, math, no gray area, black and white here. Okay, we're going to go on to question number 2, and it says write the number in standard form and expanded form, and the number is 89 and 765 thousandths. 89 and 765 thousandths. Now, I already have it written here in standard form, which actually standard form is word form. Okay, so when you see standard, you're looking at you want it in word form. And all you do is write it out in words. 89, the decimal point is and 765 thousandths. Now, the key to remember here when you write it out in words is since we're talking decimals, it is thousandths, THS. Just like when we go in tenths, TENTHS, hundredths, THS, this is thousandths, THS. Make sure you don't forget that. Now, when we're doing it in an expanded form, all right, we're doing it in powers of 10, and this is how we would do this. I have the 80, so I'm going to do 8 times 10 to the first power, which is 80, plus 9 times 10 to the 0 power, which is 1. So that's, which is 1, and then I have 9 times 1, which is 9. So I have 89 right here, plus, and I have 7 times 10 to the negative 1, plus 6 times 10 to the negative 2, plus, and I have 5 times 10 to the negative 3. Now, we also talked about you can write this a different way. I can also write 7 times 1/10, 6 times 100th, or 5 times 1,000th right there. Okay, so once again, had a little pause there. You can write this anyway, this way, or with the powers of 10 here. Either way is acceptable. Either way is acceptable. Just double check and make sure you are specific, okay? If you have any questions about this, please definitely ask. All right, let's go to question number 3 here. All right, we have question number 3. We're using greater than, less than, or equal to compare decimals. First of all, when you compare decimals, you have to get them in the same, let's just say, format. Okay, so right here I have decimal notation on this side, and I have it in an expanded notation here. So I want to get them both really in decimal notation so I can compare decimals. So over here, I'm going to convert this to 5 times 10 is 50, plus 3 times 1 is 3, plus 8 times 1/10 is 8/10, and that equals 53 and 8/10. And I have 53 and 8/10 on this side. So this one's pretty simple. They are equal, and we should be able to figure that one out. Next one is a little bit different. I have 31 and 64 hundredths. So I'm going to write that as 31 and 64 hundredths. And then over here, I have 3 times 1 is 3, plus 6 times 1/10 is 6/10, plus 4 times 100th is 4 hundredths. And I put that together, and I have 3 and 64 hundredths. So I have 3 and 64 hundredths compared to 31 and 64 hundredths. Now, most people can see which one is greater than or less than, but as we talked in class, when we compare decimals, I still like lining the decimal points up. So 31 and 64 hundredths, and then I have 3 and 64 hundredths. And as you can see here, my decimals are lined up. Now it's fairly easy for me to look at place values starting from the left with both numbers, okay? And I start with the 3, and I have a 3 and a 0 there. Well, that's really easy. 3 is greater than 0, so it's greater than. I don't even have to look at the rest of these numbers. All right, so I have 31 and 64 hundredths is greater than 3 and 64 hundredths. Now, generally, when we make a mistake here, what I see a lot of is we don't remember which is the greater than or which is the less than. And I know in 3rd and 4th grade, a lot of you, your teacher may have looked at it and said that's like Pac-Man. It's eating everything up. It's chomping everything up right here. And these are teeth right here and everything like that, or a crocodile. And that's fine. That is not a problem whatsoever. However you can remember it is great. When in doubt, if you just want to look at the symbols themselves, okay, you may be able to look at it and say, see how this gap is really large and this gap is really small. That means this is the greater than side, and this is the smaller side, the less than side. Same thing here. This would be greater than side, and this smaller gap here would be the less than side. Okay, and that is it for that FA. Thanks.